Ladies and gentlemen,
Hello. Kia ora whānau. How are we all doing tonight? Hello, Magenta. How are you? How's things?
It's been a week. It's been a week.
Oh, yeah, that week.
A whole week has
Yeah.
felt like, honestly, at least 2, maybe 3.
I feel like it's, my week started off actually really well, if I'm honest. I had a great Monday. I passed my driver's license test, so I can drive myself around now.
Woo!
This is pretty cool. And I had some fabric arrive for my sewing project. And then Wednesday happened, and I suppose it was Tuesday night, wasn't it? And then shit hit the fan, I guess.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I had a really the worst part is I had a really great day on Wednesday because I went to the university and we had a bunch of year 10s from a bunch of schools come around, and we had a bunch of Māori rangatahi all learning about university, seeing what's out there and kind of just having a fun day. We fed children, and I can tell you this, it definitely costs more than $3 per meal. We even let them take extra fruit and vegetable, like fruit and bananas and stuff. So, it was nice to feed children and then come home and go, oh my God, what is happening?
Pretty much. Oh, well. I was going to say, it was some great news in New Zealand politics, but there wasn't even that to balance it, really. It was just, it's just a week, I guess. Yeah, so we're going to chat about it on today's show. Because I can't really avoid it, unfortunately. It's top news. But I promise you, there are memes, some minis, and some good news to follow. So, yeah,
we're not going to make it. It's not all doom and gloom today, people. Don't worry.
Got to spread in the good news at the same time.
Exactly.
Alrighty. So, I suppose before we start, Magenta, did you just want to? I suppose you just wanted to acknowledge the passing of the last soldier of the Māori battalion.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, some sad news today at the passing of Robert Gillies, aka Bomb. He passed away today in Rotorua, the age of 99. He was from Ngāti Whakauē, Ngāti Kahununu. He moved to Rotorua at the age of 6, and he died with his whānau after serving in the war, which is quite funny. He actually lied about his age so that he could get in. And so I guess that's what also means we still have someone around. So he was he was the last surviving member of more than 3,600 men who enlisted in the 28th Māori Battalion in World War II. And actually, as a child, like I obviously am from Rotorua, so I remember going to the museum, and there's like this awesome exhibit about the battalion, and you saw all the photos of all the soldiers, and it's a really awesome story. But obviously, it was quite sad because, as we know, when they came back, they didn't necessarily get treated the greatest. And that was one of the things that Robert actually, advocated to and lobbied governments to apologize for the way that they treated Māori upon their return from World War II. He was also awarded 2 knighthoods in 2 different countries, which is an amazing achievement. Although he only actually accepted those on behalf of all of those who he served with. And actually, at the end of the day, he said that he regretted taking on and accepting those awards because the fuss kept going on and on, as he said. So, great man, very sad news, and just wanted to obviously make sure that we acknowledge that on the show before we go into the rest of the news for tonight. So,
Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a pretty sad thing, but I'll see. Yeah, it's not a bad ending, I guess, for him. I hope so. And so he was survived by a few family members?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's got plenty of whānau, so there was many people with him, so
that's good.
Sad for them, but I'm sure they're all sharing stories and laughing and all just laughing about, the guy that they'll miss.
All right. Well, shall we dive into the top 5 of the week? In fact, it's not even top 5. I think I'm just going to recap the 3 big ones because, let's be honest, there's probably more. I don't know if I could stomach it.
This week is not really on the cards, I think.
So it started with actually, to be fair, Sunday was kind of great. We had Luxon meet with Guyon.
Finally showed his face.
Sorry, what's the last name? I just know it was Guyon.
Espina, yeah, that's the one.
That's what it is. Which was a fascinating interview. Yeah, it still came off as a bit of a prick, Luxon did. Just doesn't. I mean, he's not relatable at all. I don't like. I don't know how he thinks he's relatable either.
Well, I mean, I think you kind of have to have spent most of your life, I don't know, living in the country that you're supposed to be ruling or whatever to actually be able to be relatable.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of more what they're doing right now. I don't really feel like they're not exactly listening to us. They're not listening to data or evidence. So, I mean, it was interesting to see him show his face. That was for sure. I mean,
yeah,
I was quite disgusted by the way that he just spoke. He clearly does not value New Zealanders customers.
Yes. The use of customers is really, like, he really does see New Zealand as a business, and like he is running this country like a business, and we are the customers in which he has to. It's not a good analogy. We're not customers. We are the people that you serve, but we're not your customer. I don't know.
I feel like you could probably do a whole episode on that entire interview. There was just so many things.
You totally could.
That he said
absolutely
that were
break
just
it down.
appalling, like talking about, around the capital gains tax, that people just want to grab at whatever they can when times are tough, implying that, poor people just want to grab at all these rich people's money. Like, come off it. That's clearly not what we're talking about. And such a dick.
It was this is a great comment. I can't say that what I am saying to you, it's derogative and demeaning. Thank you, very short. It is. It's like, well, actually.
I mean, all of their language is just like, even in the disgusting Seymour video that we got this week, like the tone in which he was speaking was just like infantilizing.
The one where looks like he's in front of the White House and he's
it made my whole body even my bones were just shivering in disgust at his smug fucking face.
Well, speaking of smug fucking faces, here's a little meme to brighten your day.
Yeah, thanks to the Discord for some memes. As we know, he loves to chirp on this fucking line. I don't know what does he do with his time, because he's not exactly talking to the people who are working for him.
He's doing this. He's handing out stickers that say "Alphalooza."
It was a beautiful segue, actually. That just so people are aware, the memes you're seeing on screen right now were made by people in the Discord who are playing around with the Live Laugh Luxon stickers that young nets like to hand out. Unfortunately, I have seen these stickers in real life in the wild. I avoided those people like the fucking plague. And yeah, loving the fucking egg Luxon and Alphalooza Luxon.
I thought this was like superimposed on the meme ones. This is we've worked out this was actually legit. It's like the O is his face.
Yep. So
He's so cool.
Disgusting. Sorry, we should probably get his face off the screen. This is
no.
A little too traumatizing.
Let's go. It is, but I can give you something that's a little bit nicer. Someone found this. You know who it was?
It was me on my way to work.
Oh, is it seriously? So this is somewhere in Wellington, is it?
This is in Wellington. I don't know if so this is Choose Lane. And when I was walking to work the other week, obviously I thought of our boy Chewy, because you got Choose Lane, Choose Lane Apartments, and there's an entire history of Choose Lane. So hopefully next time Chewy comes up here, maybe we can get him to take a photo there.
him with Choose Lane. Yeah. All right, so that's enough talking about Luxon, but a great way to share some memes. The second top story of the week was clearly the US election.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, I didn't even manage to watch the show. I think I may have caught the end of the show, and because I was in such a state of shock of how so wrong everyone got it. Like, there was always a bit like the polls are like pretty even. They don't really, the point difference doesn't really make, like, you always be a bit judgmental. So I was always going into it like biting my nails. I did not expect that quick of a sweep.
It was rough.
Terrifying shit.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously spent most of the day not really able to see the news, and then when I got home I jumped into the BHN Discord VC to kind of get everyone to help me know what was going on, and oh man, it was rough. It was fucking rough. I think like I didn't know who was going to win. I know who I wanted to win, but I was just it just felt like we could never truly know. And I think sadly we got the bad result, the one that we really I had more hope for America. I don't know. It's disappointing, and it's disappointing that it's going to, affect us whether we like it or not, whether we see, actual policy affecting us straight away. We're going to see like culture and the rhetoric is going to have an effect, and it's kind of scary times.
I mean, my partner and I was saying to him that the thing that scares me the most is what this means because we've got Tiriti up for debate at the moment. Well, we shouldn't do, but David Seymour wants to. Because there is in the limelight at the moment, it could empower what's happening in the US could empower those here to be like, oh, maybe this, there's things happening in the world. Maybe this is a good debate to have. That's what scares me. And it's the fact that there's president, right? But then there's the red sweep across all four, including, the Supreme Court, all four sectors of government, essentially, that they have control over. And I'm not saying every Republican wants to enact, Project 2025, but, I can't discredit it entirely. Maybe they do, and maybe they have the power to, and that's freaking scary.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's for me what makes it definitely so much more terrifying than the last time that he got in. Like the last time he got in, I was not a happy chappy, but I guess I could deal with it. Things weren't too bad, but given how much has happened since then, how much he's managed to build his cult following, and I mean, it's insane just to see the place that, like, New York flipping.
Yeah.
There were so many things and then between that, Project 2025,
and then just like the massive, like the needle, the shift in the needle image that I shared with you. It's just like half the country's just all going that way. Yeah. Like I knew that young men were definitely leaning a little bit more right, which is, I think you and I were discussing it already, but
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense because there is a lot, they are kind of getting marginalized, or at least that's what people
They think they
are.
are. They think
They
they
think
are.
that, yeah, there's people that are
Yes.
peddling that message that
Yes.
they're
And
becoming more and more
there are
marginalized as everyone else
there
is
are
becoming
people
more and more equal,
exactly. There are
right?
people doing things that are kind of validating what they're feeling, but kind of directing it to the wrong source. You know,
Yeah, it's
they're
like, well,
kind of
they've got
attributing
more,
this
let's take
loneliness
it
that
back.
exactly
Yeah.
because you know a lot of young people are experiencing a lot of loneliness, and you know I've seen a few videos already talking about how like the right have really managed to capitalize on the vulnerabilities of young men. And it is
Mm.
quite sad to see that, you know, these people who are, you know, in obviously in vulnerable states need, you know, a support group, and just unfortunately finding support in people who are then feeding these horrible narratives and you know, kind of creating echo chambers that are so unhealthy for them and making them very like lacking in compassion.
Im's almost sound like a men's rights activist. I have, well, no, I'm when I say hell no, men don't have rights. Blah, blah, blah. It's just that no, it's everyone is equal in their rights, and I think it's the same as the Tiriti, you know, the whole bill and the discussion there is that we're not starting on an even playing field. Women have only been able to vote for the last 60 years now. Like we're not starting on an even playing field there, and gay rights have only really in the last decade or two, you know,
Yeah.
swung in favor and more. There's more acceptability around it. So we have a long way to go to get to an even playing field. But the fact that we're seeing in maybe the last 5, maybe 10, but 5 years specifically, we're seeing a pushback so heavily when it's taken so long for marginalized people to actually start to get onto an equal playing field. Like it's like you get an inch and they're like, oh no, you're inching too far.
No,
No,
yeah.
like
It's
we're
well,
going
and that's
back
the
full
thing is
neutrality.
they're viewing it in the a lot of them view it in the wrong way. Is they're viewing it as other people getting access to rights means they're losing
They're
access to
taking, yeah,
something.
that's
You know,
taken from them.
it's that fallacy. But the thing is that you know we can there's clearly an issue where men these young men clearly have an issue that something needs to support them. But unfortunately, what has been supporting them has been people that have been encouraging this. And yeah, I mean, it's sad to see that they've chosen to choose a felon before a woman of color, which is just that shows you where they're at. There's a lot of regression. There is a lot of bias, prejudice, bigotry at play that's just poison the water.
What did women do wrong? Nothing. Blame them anyway. I mean, like it's easy to point the finger. I'm gonna say us, but like you know, at me, I guess females in general. Like it's easy to point the finger at us when we're starting to fight for the same jobs as you, the same appointment, like you know, management positions, CEO, executive
Yeah.
positions. Like women are actually started to get a seat at the table. It
Yeah.
start to
And I
even
mean,
things out.
there are so many factors. Like, I think that's another issue is that people just want to blame one thing, one issue is that all of these they're multi-causal. There's an environment of things happening with these people that is kind of creating these unfortunate results. So like we can't just blame it on this or just it's like the same with like everyone's like, oh, Kamala fucked it or Biden fucked it or this fucked it. And it's like a lot of things fucked it, to be honest.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of
There
things
are
fucked it.
a lot of the commentary now post election is a lot of I suppose left I suppose political commentators. You know, your Hassan Pikers and the I say is it Brian Tyler Cohen? I always forget which order
Yes,
they
that
go in.
sounds right.
Yes, he turned up the would have been the morning after in a sweatshirt and hoodie, and he looked so defeated. But he was echoing what every other commentator was saying on the left, which was like, we should have seen this coming. We knew this was we knew that was the case, that everyone was leaning more and more right, that the polls were so far off. And of course it makes sense. The Democrat Party are not they're not being progressive enough. They're not being they're just not pushing for the right policies. They're not speaking to people. They're not trying to disestablish the establishment. They're just like status quo, keep it as it is. We're normal, pick us. But it really is that Trump's, he really is the face of the Republican Party, but his whole rhetoric is, I will disestablish things. I will make a difference. I can do the change. I'm different. Whereas I think the Democrats lean too heavily on traditional politics and traditional messaging of we are the right path.
It's all that bigot shit. It's just, let's play into fuck all minorities, fuck women, fuck them all. Let's go back to when things were great again, i.e. before everyone had the rights that they should deserve. And I think that here's another good point, is that a lot of them are angry about, the shifting of things, because obviously we have all this money that's going all the way to the top while everyone else is slowly moving down.
But they also don't understand that it's, I don't think they understand that it's sticking at the top though. And they're being sold this message of if the economy's good, if businesses are good, the trickle down economics, everyone's gonna win when the billionaires get more money. They'll have more money to spend on you, but the middle class is shrinking, which means the lower class is getting bigger. And I don't think they realize that a lot of them are in that lower socioeconomic situation, and they're going to get absolutely screwed over by a majority of their policies that they put in place. And that's really sad, but part of me is kind of maybe this is what we need to start again, burn it all down, start again. But that what that actually means,
it's sad, but
it's people's lives, right? It's the same thing with COVID, right? It's oh well, if we just let it run rampant, it'll do its thing, and then we can move on. And it's no, that means people's lives are going to, you'll lose people. You can't do that for the sake of the economy, right?
Absolutely. So, there's a clusterfuck. There's a clusterfuck of issues, and they can trickle down these nuts for all I fucking think. But we have Lichify. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Bold and reckless prediction. Trump gets a lead aspro in the first half. POTUS passes to J.D. Vance, who, under emergency powers, forms an authoritarian government under the control of a corporate cabal. And that's what we're fucking scared of, isn't it? Also, couch fucker as a president? My God. We're in the worst timeline, guys.
Speaking of the couch fucker, I have a great meme to segue to. Well, thank you, Magenta.
Hell yeah.
This beautiful creation that someone has come up with. Look at this. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. We've got J.D. Vance on a couch, Elon Musk in his potbelly and his Cybertruck.
Jumping around like an idiot.
This god-awful pumpkin face who can't blend. He has so much money and he doesn't have a good makeup artist. And then, of course, RFK. Headland his horse room in his head.
It's a terrifying picture.
Beautiful. At least we got this out of it. At least we'll get 4 years of this out of it.
I guess, although, I can't imagine being Elon Musk's transgender, child.
Yes.
Seeing him joining this fucking...
They've completely disowned him, though. They're I don't want anything to do with him.
You still have to know. that that's your dad. And I feel so
what does
bad
that say
for
about
him.
me? We're blood.
You'd feel tainted. You'd feel fucking tainted, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of tainted, I guess we better get into looking at Simeon Brown's face, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys.
Likely have big implications.
Don't you play right away. Thank you very kindly. So we had our favorite Kieran McAnulty on breakfast, And honestly,
I'm so glad we got to use this clip because it gave me a reason to look at pictures of his face and then put one in the thumbnail.
honestly, that is
He brings me so much calm of like, the left has a future. He's gonna come out and be like, fuck y'all. Let's do the right thing.
And this is actually what I loved about this whole segment, because obviously they came on for the political panel, and so the beginning of the clip is mostly just them talking about the US election. And so basically Daniel has asked Kieran basically his thoughts on the results, and Kieran very clearly was concerned about the potential for tariffs and what that might mean for people in his local community. Actually spoke to the answer, and Simeon was asked, okay, so you must be pretty stoked that Trump won, right? And Simeon gives a bit of a typical this government answer. He didn't say fuck all much and talked about honestly,
didn't say
that's why we skipped
what I would
to
you. He didn't use the talking point. What I would
don't worry, we'll get there. But this is when Kieran was, I don't know, I think Kieran must have been pretty fired up, because obviously the press release was going to be happening just this day. So I think he was a bit fired up and a bit racked up, because he was poor Simeon, he was just getting it from all sides. We'll just have a watch.
Relationships, and that's critically important for New Zealand's interests going forward.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that.
You're also stoked, eh?
And so that's Kieran saying, but you're so stoked, eh?
Yeah, but
well, look, no. Ultimately, as I said when I was on this show last time, I mean, we will work with whoever is elected president, and that president is Donald Trump.
Stoked, Simeon. You're stoked. Hey, listen, how does
and just see
even he's chiming in. Oh, poor dude.
He's getting it from Kieran, but then Daniel was just in there like 1, 2, like, and you know what? That really cheered me up, given the news that we had the night before. And honestly,
he has no backbone either. He just takes it. I think that's kind of why it's easy to make fun of him, because he's just like, oh well, I'm just doing politics.
Watch his body language.
I'm just peddling whatever you guys want.
His body language starts to get very small after he keeps getting bullied through this entire panel, because he goes into the next few minutes basically talking about, again, doesn't answer the question, just wants to talk about, we have relationships with a bunch, that neutral line that Chris has been trying to push about, we'll work with whoever's in government, blah, blah, blah. And just really trying to like distract from actually answering the conversation.
Look at that face.
Yeah.
He just looks so sad.
And honestly, he should be. Because this part is when we come in. This is when Daniel asks, what are you scared of, when we're talking about the treaty principles bill obviously being rushed through because they're acting like little bitches.
Has been out there building more trading relationships for New Zealand, such as the trade deal with GCC, and he's working very hard with the Indian government as well, because ultimately we need to have opportunities in markets across the globe so that our businesses can thrive and succeed.
A lot of noise has been made about it being introduced earlier. We had Margaret Motu on earlier. What is your government scared of in bringing it earlier?
Oh, we're not scared of anything. We're just simply, the bill is being introduced to Parliament. That's something a Cabinet made a decision to introduce the bill. That bill is now being introduced to Parliament. It will then have a first reading.
But Simeon, you knew there was a Hīkoi the following week, and all of a sudden, it's just quite suspect, isn't it? It is quite cheap.
And I'll just say, pay attention to Kieran's face, because, man, he starts to get really you can tell he's getting ready to go.
He's bringing it a bit earlier.
Not at all. Once it's tabled, the public of New Zealand will be able to see a copy of the bill, and they'll be able to engage in it. I mean, ultimately, that's about giving New Zealanders the opportunity to see a copy of it. That's all we're saying.
And this bit I just found quite weird because he's saying, well, technically, we're allowed to do it when Luxon's not in the country because it's just being tabled. And all I took from that is, oh, so you're using a loophole to do a bitch move. Okay, interesting. And we're just about to hear Kieran start to come in and pop off. All my notes says is King Kieran. I don't actually remember what he said.
Simply doing today is making sure that it's tabled.
What a vacuous
Kieran, it seems
response. I mean,
highly
at the end of the
suspicious.
day, of course it is. And I don't believe a word that he's just said. And I don't think he believes it. There's a very clear reason why they brought it forward. There was a timeline already there. It was due to be taken to Ledge this week, to Cabinet on the 11th and introduced on the 18th. That was out there in the open. Everybody knew that. Then there's this massive protest that's being organised, and these guys are like, oh, no, we can't have that, so we're going to bring it forward. There's no other excuse for it. There's no other reason for it as to try to avoid scrutiny. And the Prime Minister is trying to avoid scrutiny throughout the whole thing. Frankly, Chris Luxon needs to grow a pair and front up around this because he's avoiding the question in the House. And now, lo and behold, the bill is coming to Parliament on a day that he's not going to be there.
Yeah. So,
Damn.
Kieran
Saying
in
it
sicko mode.
straight.
Yeah.
Grow some balls and show up. Damn.
I mean, he said a lot in there. I mean, you know, he's saying, and it's all true though, is that they're making choices. They're making a choice to run this through. They're making a choice to be this divisive. And yeah, Simeon, that's what I love to see because you could see him trying to be like,
This what I mean. He's got no attack. He just kind of lets people walk over him a little bit. Like at least with the Chris Bishop, like he kind of he goes no, like he starts to like have a little bit of like no.
Well, yeah, he knows how to interject himself. Like
maybe
he clearly has experience.
Yeah, maybe it's just an experience thing.
I also love this one. Peter saying it looks like a parent-teacher interview, and the student isn't getting a good report.
What, Kieran would feel like.
Yes, I mean, because Daniel's also the teacher that's like absolutely like giving shade to the student.
Man,
that's
poor
pissed him
kid.
off. Yeah, it's just so funny to watch him get. And I mean, all I've written here for this next tiny few seconds is just Simeon bullshit. I guess he answered.
It's being tabled today so that people can actually see a copy of it. Like the opposition should be actually looking forward to that rather than now saying it should be delayed.
Absolute trot. I mean, at the end of the day, a bill has to be introduced, doesn't it? It would have been introduced before the bill was going to be read, and we would have seen it then. The point is that it was brought forward by pretty much 2 weeks to try and get in front of this protest, and I think it's going to blow up on them. I think that people think, well, at the end of the day, this is a rubbish bill anyway and a complete waste of time.
Please, Dad, please, let me talk. I just want to say something.
But I didn't mean, no.
That's not what we're doing. No, don't feel bad for this fucker.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there was a comment before that was like, we're just shitting on him because he's on the other side. But actually, to be fair, they shit on the left so much harder, and they don't give us any breathing room. I'm the person on the left going, okay, now I start to feel a little bit bad. But I'm like, no, fuck you. You're doing bullshit things that I don't agree with. And the right does not give us any grace. So fuck y'all.
Exactly. So, I mean...
I have to say about it.
Yeah.
But also, I kind of feel bad for Simeon. Sorry. I'm an empathetic
if you feel bad
I'm sorry.
because he looks like a child, and okay, I can understand because he looks like a kid, so you're feeling bad that a kid's getting bullied. Got it.
Yeah,
I totally
also
understand
remember
what
he's
you
a
mean.
35-year-old man. He is older than me, and like, grow up here. You're a fucking politician. So yeah.
Yeah, he's a child with a receding hairline, and that's gotta suck. Honestly.
Oh, ouch.
I mean,
no,
he's trying to fuck with my rights. I don't care.
Is he? I was going to think, who's got a receding? No, he actually does. I think it was someone else I was looking at. It's like, oh no, his is worse. But no, Simeon's is getting there.
The Prime Minister should be here.
All that's happening today is technicality, and the bill is being tabled on the floor of Parliament for a first reading in coming days. Ultimately, that's all that is happening, and all I'd say to the public watching is...
See that? Did you hear that?
No, sorry, I was doing chat.
No, that's all good. We can take that back a couple of seconds.
Yeah, it's just show that again.
Replay for the
just for the ones in the back.
Ultimately, that's all that is happening, and all I'd say to the public watching is we have the national...
Yep, I noticed that stumble.
Fuck, don't say that. Wait, what was Kieran's reaction to that? Did he just go like, come on, dude?
The party has been very clear, we'll support it to a first reading, and it will...
Nah, he didn't really. I mean, to be fair, this guy's been so fired up this whole thing. But there is a tiny... We'll let him... Actually, no, sorry. He does have a response to Simeon's bullshit. We'll let him cook. We'll let him cook.
And all I'd say to the public watching is we as the National Party have been very clear. We will support it to a first reading, and it will go no further after that.
Utterly gutless. We should scrap the whole thing from the start. Why are we bringing division into this country for no reason, just to appeal to the ACT Party? They have options here, Daniel. The Prime Minister could say, right, we're going to do a first reading and then scrap it. They could say to the Select Committee, send it back to the House straight away so we don't have 6 months of racism and bigotry coming out and division in our country. But no, they don't have the guts for that. They're just rolling around to appease David Seymour.
We made a
Kieran
deal.
McAnulty, Simeon Brown, that is all the time we have for. Let's all take...
Even he's like, nah, shut up. No one wants to hear you.
And then he gets cucked at the end. It's just... Honestly, that's why I literally, to get that clip, like grabbed my phone, opened up the TVNZ app to screen record because I was just in hysterics.
We can't not show this.
Watching, at points he's sweating. He's sweating on his nose.
Oh. To be fair, those lights are, I think they both are, those lights are very bright and quite hot. I was going to ask a question. I don't know if you can answer this, but this is me showing how little I know about government. My partner and I were discussing it, and I was, I think we had a debate over how I think he was saying that the government always said that they wouldn't they would only support it to the first reading. That's what the exact line has been. They will not support it past the first reading. But he was saying that that means that it will go to Select Committee and it will come back to the House.
Which means we're going to waste a fuck ton of time and money talking about it so they can just... Well, that's what Kieran's saying there at the end, and that's their whole point is that if I mean, let's say that is an acceptable excuse, which it is not. They're trying to say, oh, we'll just let it go through that first one. We'll spend a fuck ton of money, Parliament time that could be spent doing something else, and just to throw it out. Like,
so what they're saying is that they've always agreed that they're going to support it
just to the first reading. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
That's what I mean. So is it not when it gets to the first reading, they're going to say no. But is that because the process says no, it goes to Select Committee and it comes back?
You have to get it approved through, I think it's 3 readings in total, I believe. So they have multiple readings, and that's where revisions and stuff happen, and different, processes can happen. But so it's basically just a waste of fucking money so that they can be racist. And to be honest, the fact that he even let it, the fact that it's in his coalition agreement is he's complicit in it. He has agreed to it by including it in that coalition agreement. Yeah. And this weak excuse of, oh, well, it's in my agreement and I have to honor it, is fucking bullshit, honestly. It's just buzzwords and corp speak, which is all this government is really good for, to be quite frank. Because that's one thing that I'm noticing is it's all of them. It's all this corporate kind of fake speak. And it's just, it's quite disgusting. Because actually I agree here with this comment here is poor Tucker is a spineless coward for letting this go through too. And that's actually something that's I'm glad that someone's mentioned that, because I was watching Te Karere and they were talking to Tēnei Henare, and he was discussing all of what's going on at the moment. And, you know, they were discussing there of, well, you know, who's talking to Tama? Like, are people saying, like, you know, what are you up to? Like, when is enough going to be enough? Like, where are you drawing the line in the sand? Because at this point, he is siding himself with this. And we have seen in the past that you can make a choice. We had Tariana Turia, you know, back in 2004 with the foreshore and seabed. You know, she made the decision to, you know, stand by what she believes in and make a hard decision and leave. And Tama is basically being challenged by many Māori around the country.
His family
to
too,
kind of
surely.
get
His
that out.
father
I mean,
would
they
also
have
be like,
to.
"What the fuck are you doing, bro?"
They've got to be. I just
Yeah.
and I do believe that, because I remember that interview that he had with Moana, and
Yeah.
honestly, he looked like he was just, he knew he was
Yeah.
gonna get, like, after, I feel like after the cameras went off, he said sorry to
just
her
like,
or something.
"So sorry. It's not me. It's
Yeah,
the
because
party. I'm so
he's
sorry.
sorry, I'm a spineless little bitch, but you know,
I gotta do the thing."
and that's the thing, is he's doing so many things that are, you know, obviously completely contradictory to his people, and surely he will either bend, like, he's got to bend at some point, or he'll just reveal himself to be the piece of shit that he clearly is, at least showing himself to be so far.
All right, let's just do some super chats.
Yes.
And I love this one from Brian Turner. Thank you. Don't make excuses for assholes. Yeah, okay, fair point.
I won't, don't worry.
Prakash Patel, thank you for your super chat. Obama won twice because he was anti-establishment but centre socially, so that's why white working class voted for him. He said he wasn't for. Oh, really? Oh, interesting. Yeah, but he definitely was. He had the anti-establishment speak down. Tim Walz has it too, but as VP being so late pick, I think it wasn't enough. So. Hey, at least they keep their he's governor, right, of Michigan, or the other M state, or the other M state. They get to keep him though. So that's good.
Oh, don't make me sad again.
Kiwi Burp, thank you. Virgin Simeon versus Chad Kieran.
Holy shit, that's
love
so
it.
funny.
Damn.
Holy shit.
Hope Kieran doesn't
Fire.
watch this. He's never gonna come on. He's never gonna come on our show. He'll be on like early in the week. You can put us like Friday night. Ooh,
We can hype him up. We can hype him up. All right, and we've got Rajan with $5. Thank you, Rajan. So, by Nationals' logic, Labor could get in and do the Greens' wealth tax, and it won't be their fault, as they need to honor the coalition agreement. You know what, Rajan? I think you're right. So let's hope that we can get a Greens, Labor, Te Pāti Māori coalition, and a snap election, or the next election, whatever, and we can make some shit happen, because us lefties need to go hard and fast, like Luxon wanted to do.
Well, I mean, that's what they were voted in to do. It's their mandate. That's why they were voted in. That's why they got 8% of the vote, and so now they have to do the whole bill. Like, I mean, 8% of the country wants it. So,
woo, crazy.
I mean, to be fair, no, not being fair. No, no, I'm too nice.
Yeah, and that's on being socialized as a woman, people.
Yeah, it's true, sadly. Too nice. I'll say mean shit and then I'll be like, I'm sorry. But also, fuck you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Meh. All right. Well, that leads. We got any memes to go between, or do we feel like that was actually kind of a positive news story?
Honestly, yeah, I think watching Simeon get absolutely fucking just reamed on by both Kieran and Daniel was just like, mwah. Like, it was both bad and good news at the same time, it felt. But we will head into the next part. I will just find something to share. I should have set that up. while we were reading, but I didn't. Hey, look at that. You know what?
Thanks, Rod Tang. Say it with my chest. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, right there. I'm blind. Okay, so we are going to go into some discussion around.
I'm just going to highlight this. As a lefty, I like hard but fast as a no. So long, hard, anticipated, appreciated. I'm sure that's about politics and policies, right? Not anything else. I'm not reading into that. Maybe that's just me.
Definitely not.
Thank you. Oh, also, Brian Turner, thanks for another super chat. People fill the public gallery in question time. Good.
Hey,
So
yes, you do. All right, let's chuck up this here. So, as we all know, the government tried to pull a fast one, but we're still going. And so I just wanted to kind of go through because this is their Instagram page, but it has a great just slide of information that we won't talk about too much because obviously you can all go to their Instagram and their website. We'll be putting the links into the chat during the show. So obviously this Hīkoi, as we know, is different. There is not just a Hīkoi, there is the convoy and the activation aspects. So there's going to obviously make sure that if you're participating, wherever you're participating from, safety, make sure that you have safety plans, you have phones charged, water, paper, pen, just things that you might not think you need, but it's always good to have on you. Even hair ties. People forget things like hair ties. It gets hot, sunscreen, slip, slop, slap and wrap, wear your hat or no play and all that fun stuff. And also there is a priority around, this is a mokopuna centered kaupapa. So obviously in terms of, when you're at these activations and at these protests, we do want to keep in mind that, our kids are going to be there. So as much as we might want to sit there and say some really like handy things, maybe just keep in mind your surroundings and maybe save that for when you're not around the kids. So that's something I always have to remind myself of because it can be really frustrating. So the boys have talked about the South Island League, and obviously there is the North Island. So there is a full itinerary of places where there's going to be rallies and, conversations. There will be marae that have been set up to help house people who are going to be going. We'll just go through some of these because you guys can all look at the different dates yourselves. But just remembering that I'll stop this one and go to their website as well if you guys want to have a look at their website. That has all the information that you might need. Obviously, all the kaupapa, all your timings, any extra information. They've even got like full on breakdowns everywhere. Make sure that you let people know they can come to this website. And we also want to highlight that there is going to be a fundraiser for the Hīkoi just before the Hīkoi will be landing at Paremata Parliament, for those of you who weren't sure. So on Event Finder, we'll have the links there too. There's Hīkoi Mō Te Tiriti Pōneke fundraiser. It's going to be at Meow here in Wellington on the Thursday at 7 p.m. till 11:30 p.m. And it's got some awesome pricing. So we've got tangata whenua, $10 tickets. General admission, $20. And if you can't go, but you would like to support the kaupapa, you can donate through this specific event. And all of the funds are going towards helping with the housing, the feeding, and all of the, resources that is going to go into this kaupapa, because obviously a lot of our marae are taking on a lot of mahi in terms of feeding and housing, because that is being prioritised for our kaumatua and our mokopuna, and obviously people are asked to find their own accommodation where possible. So yeah, just make sure that if you want to go, look up all of their socials. If you have any questions, send questions through to their Instagram. I know that they're quite active and pretty good at answering stuff when possible. So yeah, just make sure that you keep talking about this. Like, that is what's important, is that they want us to forget that this is happening right now. So we just got to, all of our buffers, we need you to also come hang out. I know that I'm going to be there on at Parliament. So, you know, I'm sure there'll be a few of us in our BHN hoodies that'll turn up. And as actually one of the comments said earlier, maybe we could all meet up and go have a drink at Choose Lane, potentially.
Nice.
So that could be
Nice.
fun. But yes,
sweet. Did you want to? Do you want to run to the next one quickly?
Yep. So we'll do a quick community. So this is the part of the show that we're going to kind of basically make as our community notice board. So this is, if you guys have any, you know, anything going on, whether it's petitions, whether it's something that's going on with your local government, whether your local like taxpayers union is doing some weird shit and you want people to go protest them or something, you know, I reckon this is the place to do it. So you can either, preferably would be good to maybe send it through to the Discord. Otherwise, you could probably send them through to the Gmail. And we're going to start with our local community news.
What have we got happening locally?
Oh,
I just popped the email, and I also put the links to the Gmail and the website for the links that you were showing on screen.
Awesome. So from this is very local for me, but we have a consultation is going on for Te Ngako Civic Precinct, which I'm sure if you live in Wellington, you've seen all the construction, you know they just took that ugly, gross hand, and you may have also seen this in your
hand. Yeah, you stole the hand from us. Thank you very much.
I mean, I didn't want it. You could have kept it. It's off to Aussie now, anyway. And
cool,
you
right?
may
They
have
can have
also
the hand.
seen this brochure should hopefully have turned up in your mailbox. Although one thing is that the submissions for consultation close on 13th of November at 5 p.m. And there is also a consultation document which I can quickly show you all now. It looks like a really long PDF, but you don't actually have to read most of it, to be honest. Most of it's just random. Where is it? There it is. But I have noted, I think it is approximately page 20. Oh, no, sorry. Page 13. So page 13 is where they kind of start actually talking about anything at all. So don't bother reading anything. And then the last few pages are the paper form, if you would like the paper form. So those links, again, we will be putting down into the comments. So yes, please, if you live in Wellington, make a submission because we don't have much time left, because it actually opened on the 21st of October, but this only just got in my mailbox today, which, I mean...
Well, that's good of them.
Yeah, they always give you so much time, which has always been a bit of a gripe for me. And then we next have a local submission for New Zealand Parliament is open for the Auckland Harbour Board and Takapuna Borough Council Empowering Act Amendment Bill. A lot of words. If this is your area and something you're interested, I implore you to go look at the submissions on the New Zealand Parliament website. This closes on the 13th of November at 11:59 p.m. We also have a couple more submissions that will be open. We've got 2 government submissions. We've got one that is called the Building Overseas Building Protocols, Standards and Certification Schemes Amendment Bill, which will be closing on the 14th of November at 11:59, and a Dairy Industry Restructuring Export Licenses Allocation Amendment Bill that will be closing 17th of November, 11:59. And that is just what's going on in the community and what's going on with submissions at the moment. Nothing too crazy interesting with the submissions, but you know.
It's always good to know what's happening in your area and
They
how
never
to
tell
fight
us.
back. And
They never
participate in
tell us.
democracy, as David Seamer likes to say. Everyone should be participating in democracy.
Yes.
Speaking of him, we could. He was on the breakfast this morning, reacting to Te Pāti Māori also being on the breakfast this morning, talking about Te Tiriti and why it's divisive. I'm going to quickly show his reaction to Debbie Ngawera Packer's comments.
Yeah, actually, I haven't seen this clip.
I feel like that's it's it was only this morning, so I feel like it's important.
No, I'm curious to see. Well, I'm not curious to see David's face. No
one wants to see David's face. We just kind of have to. So this was him reacting, and I think it's important to hear both comments. Not that everyone wants to hear from David Seymour, but you know,
the program, she says that this bill isn't about equity or equal rights. Take a listen.
Tangata whenua are the last bastion. We are who you need to talk to and to make sure the correction of our moana, our whenua, our whānau is protected and looked after. You remove tangata whenua rights, then you have allowed full access to exploitation of all of that. Exploitation of our whenua, exploitation of our whānau, exploitation of our moana. And by doing this, this is exactly where ACT are going. This isn't about giving equality to anyone but those who are wanting to exploit the resources and the rights of us in Aotearoa.
What's your response to that?
Well, it's a really...
He gets really fixated on the tangata whenua as environment and nature. He's like, he gets really fixated on like, if this is about land, not everyone's an environmentalist. It's a really weird take from him.
Interesting clip for a whole bunch of...
He's so literal, I think, in his understanding of language. Like he literally says, oh, people of the land. Okay, so they're all environmentalists. It's like, no, you fucking moron.
Fucking hell.
It's making the claim that tangata whenua or Māori somehow are the only people who care, or at least care more than other people about the natural environment and resources. That's not true. New Zealanders from all walks of life care deeply about our natural environment and about conserving what makes New Zealand such a great place, which is our connection to the land. But it is also true that not every Māori person is an environmentalist. I'm sure there's some Māori people who don't care much about the environment whatsoever, as there are some non-Māori people and there are some people who are not Māori but do care about the environment. And this is my point. What they are saying is that we are somehow bound by our ancestry to play a role in the society that we live in. What I'm saying is that each of us are a human being with the same basic rights and dignity. We all come in different shapes and sizes and attitudes and backgrounds, but we should not try and assume that all people fit into a group based on their race or their ancestry. That used to be called racism, discrimination, stereotyping, the things that I would have thought we'd all be against. Today, it's paraded as a legitimate view. I don't think it is
okay, he just keeps talking. I'm gonna cut you off, Seema. Shut up. Yeah, he gets really fixated on this idea that it's like it's the people of the land. The other thing too is like everyone deserves equal rights and equal opportunities. I'm like, yeah, cool. So is that what we did at the beginning with Te Tiriti, or do we fuck over Māori? Like, if that's the case, maybe we should fix that first. Yeah, and then he talks about how the bill doesn't get rid of settlements. It's like, well, we've done the settlements. It's almost like, oh yeah, we've done the bare minimum. We had the whole settlements thing, so we're keeping those, but we're just gonna go from here onwards. It's like that's all they get. We're not gonna do co-governance like we promised at the beginning. We're just gonna.
We paid you off. We paid you off, right?
Yeah.
Fuck
It's
we
equal
paid
now.
you off, right? You're all
Yeah,
good
it's equal.
now.
Yeah,
Like, what
it's
are we
not like,
fucking
you know,
Stormy
Parliament.
Daniels?
It's not like the you know, the Crown has, you know, implemented a lot of their government structures, and now we have to, you know, so if we did just go from here on, so, you know,
well, I mean,
we're
I
just
think
gonna keep doing it the way we've been doing it.
My issue is that we're having this stupid fucking conversation about whether we've got these fucking principles or whatever. Can we maybe actually like have Tiriti be honored to begin with? We are already living in a country that was not what Tiriti envisioned. It was not what had been agreed to. And I think one of the unfortunate downfalls of our people has been that we have made good faith agreements with bad faith actors. And unfortunately, we have been getting fucked over for the last 80 years now or something. It's getting stupid close to being 200 years since Tiriti.
And it still hasn't been put right.
And even then we had he whakaputanga before that. Like, we have so many things that have stated what was supposed to be that we just have people. What aboutism? Like, that's all he was fucking doing. He's just like, it's just bullshit.
He repeats on the same points and he gets away with it. Yeah, he gets away with it too. And I think he's one of those speakers that I don't understand what he's saying half the time. Like, it's really hard to actually, as a you know, a layman person, to actually go, hang on, this is what he's actually saying. You're just kind of like listening to him and you're like, yeah, equal rights. Yeah, that sounds kind of good. And
well, that's the thing, is that he says things that sound good if you don't actually understand that there are so many parts that he's just twisting and manipulating to work to, you know, fit whatever fucking bullshit Atlas have told him to fucking do. Because we all know that he's a muppet for them. Specifically a muppet.
Yeah. Also, thanks Vincent God for the super chat. His words to Jenny May were so arrogant and misogynistic too, telling her what her job is. Reporters need to be pushing back. So this was the other clip I was going to show. At the very beginning, he was like, the fact that you called this divisive, you know, it's you know, fake news, but I didn't say fake news, but you know what I mean? Like, oh, the media, they're peddling this idea that it's divisive. And then eventually, when she can get a word in,
Trump.
He's like, well, it is causing division. So it makes it divisive, right? And he's like, no. This isn't a divisive bill. This is about democracy and democratizing and everyone having their own. It's like, shut up. Say something of substance. Tell the truth.
I think this comment here kind of sums it up for me. Is I understand what he's saying, but I also understand what he's trying to say, and it's all racist, misogynistic crap. Abso-fucking-lutely. And that is the thing, is that it's that dog whistling. It's what he doesn't say. It's how they say these small little things. Like, we know that,
the
like,
feelings that they want people to have.
They're not using overt racism. They're not using overt sexism and misogyny and all that fucking fun stuff. They're doing all the subtle stuff so that they can try to gaslight people into thinking it's not happening.
Yeah.
And actually, it reminds me, there was one video that actually I think the people in this video kind of sum up quite a lot of good points. And I'll just share it.
We'll just
this
show
is
the
actually,
super chat while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Says, thanks, Mr. Arvids. Brace yourself, Chaos. It's frustrating. Yeah.
It really, really fucking was. You were not wrong about that. That's for goddamn sure. So yes, this was a protest that landed on David Seymour's electoral doorstep, which we love to see. And that was one thing.
I'm pretty sure you said there was only 17 people out or something, and the cameras made it look bigger than it was.
Yeah.
There's only 17 people, and you zoomed in, so it looked bigger than it was.
Hey, I mean, the fact that people, and that's what I was about to say, is that what I found quite, impressive was how quick people mobilized, and it wasn't just Māori. It was tangata Tiriti who came out and were buffers and came out and spoke in support. And we've got, it's only a short clip, so I'll play both halves, but we've got two people who are speaking in this clip, and some awesome things they had to say.
He whakaputanga and Te Tiriti o Waitangi are the reason that myself and my ancestors can be here, can be on this whenua. This whenua has given us amazing opportunity, and the least that we can do is stand up now for tangata whenua and their rights, their tinaranga tiratanga and mana motuhake in this country. We want to make it clear. We want to make it clear to him, to his constituents, to the people that voted for him here, that this is not what we want represented in our parliament, in our parimata. We don't want this represented on our world stage. His views do not represent the majority of us. It's point.
And I mean, that was just the first speaker, and like, it was just so awesome to see our tauiwi, coming out and saying, yes, look, we don't agree with this. And you saw it right there. There is someone who is tangata Tiriti, and they were using a little bit of reo. It's not that hard. It's clearly just taken a little bit of consideration, time, and hell, I will say this now because I feel like this always needs to be said, is it's not about whether your pronunciation is 100% perfect and amazing. It's about whether you're trying. Yes, if your mouth can't make the sound right, all good. Paitera. But as long as I know that you're clearly trying to, make the sounds, because also the sounds are very subtle, and if you change them too much, it does make the words completely different, and you don't want to have like a kaka situation kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it's just really nice to see these people coming out and being buffers for us. And this lady here, she is, she's the kuya. She has some mean things to say.
It's a waste of Parliament's time. It's a waste of everybody's attention. It's taking our attention away from climate change, which is also an enormously, well, it's an existential threat to the world, really. I think the coalition government is totally on the wrong track. And I do think it's indulging in slow genocide towards Māori. Te Tiriti embodies its own principles, and there's absolutely no reason to try to state them in a separate way.
And I mean, that last bit, just to me, when she said the slow genocide, and I mean, especially because a lot of us, we've lost so much, There is so much that we'll never get back from what has been taken. From the things that were murdered, raped, and pillaged out of our culture and our history that were lost. But to see that we're still fighting, and people are now fighting with us a lot more.
Yeah,
we have more people who are coming out and just finally starting to get it.
Yeah,
and like, it sucks, but it's giving us hope.
Yeah. There's definitely been the shift that I've seen as well, is that a lot more people are, I don't know if it's people who are no longer against it, or it's just that they start to see that they need to be more actively for it, or like more actively involved in actually, saying something and being part of it, and to say this isn't right. We should do the right thing.
And that's the thing, is that like we have to acknowledge that our country was supposed to be a bilingual nation under
It's supposed to be a partnership. True partnership, co-governance.
And we wouldn't have to have this conversation had we been set up how we were supposed to be in the beginning. If we had the landscape match the people, how many countries around the world have signs and whatever languages they have? There are so many everywhere. And the fact that we sit here and have this stupid argument about just wanting to be stubbornly monolingual is kind of embarrassing sometimes. Like, what is so bad about having an extra language and understanding in your life? It's not exactly gonna gonna fucking hurt you. And but yeah, we'll just check up this. So David Seymour is Kaka, Mr. Arvids for $2.
Can you explain that just for my
Oh shit.
uneducated person?
Shit.
That's right. No, it's
Yeah, nah, it's just shit.
oh shit. Oh right. Okay.
Yeah. Nah, yeah, that's
Easy.
it. That's it.
Okay, easy.
And here from
You learn something every day.
Kiwi Girl pointing out that we believe our whenua, our land, is our ancestor, Papa Tuanuku. We believe she gave us life, therefore, yes, we want to take care of her. And that's exactly it, is that a Te Ao Māori perspective is that we are a part of this environment because humans are. We are just a part of it, and we all have to take care of each other, which includes our whenua, which includes our moanas, our awas. If we take care of those and keep our ecosystems in balance, oh no, we might actually have an all good time. Wild. Actually, that's a really good point. Yes, this comment, I've never heard a Kiwi rugby commentator mispronouncing a French, Argentinian, or other European team member's name incorrectly. All white mispronouncing Maori and Pacifica names incorrectly. Racism. And I mean, yeah, you see it everywhere in subtle ways that people treat people different. Even in Luxon's acknowledgement of the passing of Bomb, he specifically said in the 28th Battalion. He didn't say Maori Battalion. And just that small, like just losing.
It's very important.
Exactly. It is extremely important. And him just
there's a lot of history
that.
and weight. Yeah, there's a lot of history and weight behind that, and the fact that there was a Māori battalion that went to fight.
And they did so
I mean, I don't know
much.
it specifically, but I do know that is very important.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, at the Rotorua Museum, they had some amazing like videos and exhibits that just talked about a lot of, they did a lot to help from a small, and like we saw, there was only 3,600 of them, so they weren't many, but they were mighty, and that's for sure. And on that heavy note, let's go into some good news, eh? Let's start getting into the good news.
No, it's important stuff. We got to cover. We got to cover
we have to. We got
to cover the bullshit, otherwise, because it didn't get much air this week.
Exactly.
And it's more important than the US election, even though the US election is.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all kind of, I think, take time to maybe digest it a bit. I don't know.
I mean,
about
we've
you
got
guys,
till
but
the 20th of January.
Oh yeah, well, at the beginning.
I mean, he's already starting to enact some bullshit. So look forward to that.
Well, we'll start with some silly news first, eh? So again, because I'm from Rotorua, as I've established. And so some fun news, kind of silly just to begin with. Apparently, Jason Momoa has been made an honorary citizen of Rotorua. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but apparently Jason Momoa has a band. And his band is actually touring around Aotearoa at the moment. And I believe they've got 2 shows left. One of which I believe is in Wellington this weekend, which I'll just, so you got Friday, November 8th at the James Hay Theatre in Christchurch. He is the bassist in the band. And then you've got Saturday, November 9th at St. James Theatre in Wellington. Tickets available from Ticketmaster. Not sponsored, but so apparently
hashtag no spawn.
Yeah, hashtag no spawn. But yeah, so apparently Jason has a bit of a love for Rotorua and got to come visit.
In my head, I just said bit of a boner for Rotorua, but anyway, carry on.
Well, I mean, yeah, and so apparently he wanted to show his mates around and just have a bit of fun, and so it's just fun seeing just a silly little thing, and also learning that Jason Momoa is in a band. Like that was just kind of random and fun,
and brought it here.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Exactly. He's even actually I will just make one quick notice because I've seen someone's commented on the gang type thing. I noticed here it's actually for the Kanaki people. or Kanaka people. So this is
I assume Hawaii. 'Cause isn't he Hawaiian?
not. I don't believe that. I'm not going to say because I don't 100% know. So how about I don't. I won't pull a government and just say shit I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
we
will move on.
It looks like a gang patch to me. So I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, I love that. I love
someone's
it.
gonna
Looks
start
cool.
searching his house. Better.
Yeah,
hide your
and
kids,
actually,
hide your wife.
so funny you say that, Brother Monk. Rotorua was a fun place to gig at in the City Focus at Lakeside Concert. And I remember the City Focus. I miss it so much. It's really shit now. They've changed it. And Lakeside Concert, when I was like a real young person, actually, I think there's some photos of it on my wall. That used to be like the event for like, you know, teenagers and stuff when I was a kid. So yeah, many good memories at the Lakeside Concert and the City Focus. And yes, Paula Marie. I thought so.
cool.
It's Kanaka and French Polynesia. I thought so, but I didn't want to say in case I was
It's cool.
wrong. But
Good on him.
yeah. So we will go on to our next good news story.
Give us the good news. Give us the good news.
We
Do
have.
I need a theme song for this now?
So we have this news. We have Kura Papa Māori wins a $166,000 award at a literacy award in the United States. So this is a little bit older, but I mean it's from last week. But you know, I think we need some good news, especially when it comes to our kids. You know, we haven't been having the greatest run at the moment, so. They won a prize at the Library of Congress Literacy Awards in Washington, D.C. And it was Te Runana Nui o ngā Kura Kaupapa Māori. And they are a body which oversees more than 60 schools. And this is all to do with their literacy program and the amazing results that they've been seeing out of their children. And so, yeah, just amazing to see that they've been able to go over to America and be celebrated for their achievements in academics, especially since we know that the current government really wants structured literacy and numeracy and stuff like that. So I guess, helping show that there are many ways for us to kind of actually more approach these things, because a lot of what they talk about is that for them, it's about making sure that like language is being reinforced orally. And I think that's quite an important thing that they really talk about, is that, that oral language, and that making sure that you're, really reinforcing your child's language development through their like language landscape. And so, like, just to quickly touch on that, a language landscape is basically your entire environment. Like, think about anywhere you see language. We see it on signs. We see it everywhere. And the way that our landscape is made up allows us to either, develop or maintain language much more efficiently. So that's why, we wanted road signs in Te Reo Māori, while we need bilingual signage, because by enabling those types of things, you're able to have kids go out and actually be reinforcing their learning by going, oh, hoko hoko, or, oh, wahi, pahi, and all these fun things that they actually are then reinforcing and learning. And it shows a lot more of a holistic way to kind of just approach more, because I think there's a lot of kids as well who, we all learn differently. And I think there are a lot of kids who would maybe benefit from having language also just be approached in different ways, whether that be through music or haka or speeches, debates. There's so many ways you can encourage all these different language things. So it's just awesome to see our kids thriving and education win.
There is a comment in the chat, I won't highlight it, but you have to remember too that today was not always pushed on everyone, but you have to, at the very least, I think this is the whole sort of backbone of everything, you have to at the very least allow Māori to do things their way. And I think that is where I disagree wholeheartedly with what David is pushing, because he thinks that by Māori getting what they deserve, their rights, it's the same thing with women getting more positions of power. It's minorities suddenly getting more and more rights and having more say in things. It's the same with Māori. They're finally actually starting to get what they were promised from the very beginning. So it's not about pushing their language onto.
Well, also, no
the
one's
rest of us.
asking you to read it. Like, if you go to
it's just
a different country and they've got a sign that might be in English and French, are you going to read the French? Probably not. You'll read the English. It's about the fact that the people who need it available have it available. It's the same with accessibility. You know, we have so many issues around accessibility for so many different types of disabilities. This is just one of many accessibility things that needs to be considered and needs to be done, because I'm sorry, whether people like it or not, this country's founding document was between the people of the land and the crown. And if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. Soz. Soz, that's all I got for you.
Does David have an issue with women being able to work? No, sorry. I was saying that into reference of in the US, the young men going more right leaning and getting upset with becoming more marginalized because others are getting more equal rights. It's the same with Māori. They are starting to become more equal, or more so, they're getting what they were originally promised. Well, yeah, they should, but
we shouldn't have to fucking try, but we're trying.
But no, exactly, no, it's what it should have been from the very beginning.
We shouldn't be having this conversation. People shouldn't even have to think about whether they're losing or not. It shouldn't have to be a conversation.
Like in terms of this is a cult. I wouldn't say just a culture thing, but it's about culture as well. Like becoming more cultured, becoming more knowledgeable, giving more opportunities to be part of something, right? You're adding on, it's not taking away.
Exactly.
But just because we added Te Whatu Ora to New Zealand Health doesn't mean that New Zealand Health disappeared. It's just now it's commonly known as Te Whatu Ora. So we're adding to things. We're not taking away. We're just adding.
Exactly, and it's stupid. But I mean, hoiano, let's go to the next one, because these guys. But again, mōreo, and this is what we're talking about. I think this is a good transition. So, te reo Māori to make up 30% of dialogue of new TV series Tangata Pai. And so this is a new series that's actually being it's from Warner Bros. Discovery, but it's actually being made in partnership with Te Atiawa and Ngāti Te Whiti Hapu. So really amazing to see that not only are we having, a show that will have 30% reo, and they have obviously said that, it'll be subtitled so that there is no accessibility issues. And yeah, it's going to be telling the story of 5 people whose worlds collide when a bomb is detonated at a peaceful Māori protest against a license to mine a sacred site, which with everything we have seen, I mean, like there's probably going to be some of this that's probably going to hit quite raw for some people, given the history we have with past and honestly even present protests. But yeah, so we've got it's in development at the moment, and it's going to have 30% reo, and I'm just so excited,
cool.
Especially because they're working with the iwi, and it's just this is partnership, this is working together, this is creating things that we can all watch together and all enjoy together. Like, I implore everyone, actually, like, watch more Māori content. You'll be surprised how much you enjoy it. Actually, I will put a plug for a recommend. If you haven't, watch the TV series and the movie, actually, The Deadlands. Absolutely amazing. And it's not even like, oh, here's a historical TV show. This is like got some, it's mystical, and it's just so good. I cannot recommend it enough.
There was a movie first, right?
Yes, so it was a movie first, and then they made it into a TV show.
Yeah, because I watched that movie in theaters, and it was probably one of the best movies I watched, whatever year that was. It was very, very good. And I'm pretty sure it was on today. Pretty sure.
I don't know if all of it was. I think some of it is. There's definitely been a while since I watched it. I think there's definitely some parts that are
at least the movie that I remember.
Yeah.
But,
I think there's definitely the movie's probably got more deal. I think the TV show was relatively because like I said, it's been a while. But I also because like one of my old high school friends is like in it. But when you're from Rotorua, of course you know someone who's probably been on TV in something because surprisingly enough, Rotorua has a lot of celebrities. We got Chris Curtis and Tim Wetter.
Is it because the place smells bad, or? I don't know anything. I'm sorry. That's showing
maybe
my. I don't know
maybe
much.
the sulfur gives us something. Who knows? I don't know, man.
Yeah, you're all glowing. You're all glowing. No, I definitely need to make a trip there at some point. That's I need to do a North Island trip. I've done majority of the South Island, but it's hard to. It's one of those things you want to do in a car.
Though. Yeah,
Yeah,
I need to do the
you want to do in a
opposite,
car, but it's just, how do you get a car there and rental? It gets a bit tricky. So one day.
Nah, absolutely, absolutely. Should we go through some of the comments? I did see this comment. Yes, I have, and
they just can't finger it.
Your name too, low key. So like, if you're from Rotorua or you've lived in Tauranga, like, or you're in Wellington, like, probably see me around. I'm around. I've also technically I've been on the news twice. Not this news, like the actual news.
Hey, come on, we're actual news.
I mean, we ain't the fucking news, but
all right. We're actually, oh shit, we're hitting an hour and a half.
Yes.
Typical 90-minute hour. That's what we want.
What...
But I think we added on some cool stuff there, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's now everyone's favorite time of the week. At least it's my favorite time of the week because I spend a lot of time doing this. It's the highlight reel of the week, and last week, if you were there, was quite a goodie. It was a good fun one. This week is a little different, given the situation. So enjoy and let me know if the volume's right.
Kia ora koutou whānau. Welcome back to another episode of Big Hero News. Kia ora Chewy. How are you, love?
Kia ora Pat. I am here. Happy Mondays.
Happy Monday. Kia ora Chewy. How are you, love?
Kia ora Pat. I had a plan for tonight, mate. Well, see, part of my plan was this.
Yep.
And instead I've had to pivot to this. And I'm drinking it out of a pineapple.
Paddy's Irish whiskey. Will that do? How are you, love?
Kia ora Pat. I am existing.
Kia ora Chewy. How are you, love?
Kia ora Pat. I am... These guys are lying to you. They think you're dumb. Lie. And maybe that'll get through to some people. There will be a big chunk of the electorate that goes, okay, yeah, I acknowledge their lies, but their lies I like. Other part of it is, I'm going to push back a little bit on the fact, because the other side are
on the left. We go, oh, we don't want to upset people too much and give people too much stuff, so we don't.
Trust science straight from the tit of the cow, and every morning get your asshole out and point it at the sun, and that'll fix your chakras. I don't care. I don't care about this. We're still talking about Pizzagate. The man eats bear meat and has a brain parasite that ain't part of his... Like, that is objectively crazy. Whole milk and sunshine.
Right, as the first 47 seconds of the conversation. Where's the dog? Look, dog's here. Are you alive? Wait. Psst. There you go. She's alive. Giving the microphone a blowjob. Simulating oral sex.
Just acknowledge a couple of things that are happening in the chat as well. There are people saying that, just a thought that's popped into my little peanut brain right now. We need to search David Seymour's house. Because
No, we
I'm
don't.
pretty sure
No,
stuffed
we
in a
don't.
wardrobe somewhere is the reanimated corpse of Governor Grey. And when the sun comes down, he comes out. And while little David Seymour's in his jammies, Governor Grey is whispering in his ear, the treaty is wrong and we need to reinvade Waikato. Someone check the time. Pat is in agreement that David Seymour is using paranormal means to get this done. He's a wizard, Harry. I'm sorry, you've used up all of your allocation. Sit there and shut the fuck up.
I have got no idea what we're doing on the show next week.
Something to look forward to.
Oh wait, I can't unmute you for some reason. Oh wait, why can't I unmute you?
We were doing it at the same time.
Oh, sorry, you were. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh, jeez.
No, you're fine.
Oh,
I'm really
never mind, that
glad
is quite funny.
I'm really glad that I didn't actually watch that before the show, like you said, because like it was a let him cook, and then fucking hell, the chewy ran over the. Oh my. Actually, I think I put up a thing that said, very commended you on the edits.
Yes, thank you.
Because yeah,
a lot of that came from last night's show. It was I feel like he was cooking. He was cooking the first couple of days, but he was really on it last night.
I think that's what that actually highlighted to me, is it just felt like a slow decline into what the fuck is happening. Also, just so people know, I do not edit these. This is Emily. I am not. I mean, I did help find some clips.
You
but,
did.
I'm not
you did.
I
would have missed the penis one, which was a very, very important.
You can't miss the penis one. It was very important to get the penis.
It was part of the narrative, right? My favorite thing was I feel like Chewie had a bit of a premonition with the whole the blowjob thing, because that clip was from last week of him like.
Oh yeah, we had to have that. I mean, like it was too good. It was too good, and I mean, it is the best way I think to go into a weekend.
Yeah, I feel like he was able to blow off some steam, and now we can have a nice weekend. Hopefully, forget about the election that was. And start off next week.
And I agree with people in the comments. We should have Māori subs and English subs for it all. And also, I did see the Daily Show meltdown. That was amazing. That was really funny. If you haven't seen that, guys, go watch it. So funny. And Kooky Nick with the "You don't know Chewy drunk, it's glorious." And I have seen a little bit of a sneak peek of the drunk Chewy before. It was very funny.
What a delicious show. Thanks, guys, for another delicious show.
Yeah, it was a nice way to kind of go out and I see some people have been listening to Moana's new music. I was actually listening to that today. Ooh. Highly recommend. Some amazing, beautiful. Also, I miss Lake Tarawera. Now I'm getting sad. I'm getting sad for the whenua, guys. I miss it.
Whoa. That turns out that just plays. So
okay.
I guess we're should we have one of no, hang on, which one is it?
Happening?
This one? No, that one's on it. This one. There we go. All right, we are done for the week. Let's play out the show.
Help us settle a debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have the hand out for rewards, while the many have to work out what they can afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions we're too worried to mention. Other media is still dwelling on trivial facts, vetting peas from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a warpath to run, and linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe, with an A and a self and a higher in mind. All heavily, neither this way or that, and will be analyzed by both Chewy and Pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, 2 nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's Big Hairy News.
I don't know how loaded with this. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the second Friday night show of BHN ever. I assume it's ever. Magenta, anything to say to close us out?
Hopefully you guys do something nice for yourselves. Try to have a good weekend, and Keep cool to after school.
Have a good week. All right, bye.
Thank you.